Cool.
All right.
So you know how that works, right?
Here we go.
So you know how that works, right?
What?
When you clap into the microphone, because we're using two different audio devices, that's how I'm going to match it up in GarageBand. So those 2 points are going to match up like this, and then everything we're saying hopefully should match up.
Touching each other.
I believe that's called docking.
The two tips of the penis.
This is how I'm going to start the recording, by the way.
No. No.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Brightside with Mikey and Rachel. I am Mikey.
I'm Rachel.
And this is a show where we talk about Lindy Hop and things that we like to talk about, which could be anything. If you heard the beginning of the podcast, then you know we could just talk about anything. I don't know if I'm going to put that in there.
Oh, my God. Please don't.
So, I mean, I might compared to we tried to record yesterday.
You guys,
accidents happen.
It was so my bad. I apologize. We recorded, albeit I was in a very grouchy state yesterday because I hadn't slept well.
But it made for a very opinionated Rachel.
It was very opinionated. We got through the podcast, and then Mikey was like, "Okay, take out your SD card," and I was like, "Cool." I hit pause. I took out the SD card.
Oh no.
I did not press stop. Rookie mistake, because I wiped all of my audio, and we tried to run a recovery diagnostics. It didn't show up.
Didn't work.
It was gone.
I mean,
This is gone.
This is the thing. For me, it's been the same ever since VHS. You press stop and then you eject the whole thing. But I get it. Some people didn't have a VHS when they were a kid.
Okay. Look, here's the thing. All right? I hadn't had any coffee. I hadn't had any food. I'd literally rolled out of bed and sort of combed my hair to look presentable for Mikey so that when I got on, he wouldn't be like, "Oh man, you're such a mess. Look at you. Ha ha. I'm going to take a picture of you and send it out to the world." And I always saw Mikey just hit record and then be like, "We're done." And so I was like, "Oh, I'll just hit record too. And then it'll be good to go." Well, yeah, but that's my record button. I hit record to record, and then I hit it again to pause it.
Yeah. Little did you know, I always hit record, even though I should hit stop. So I hit record, and then I hit stop because it tells me I haven't stopped it. So, I mean, yeah, that's a thing. So we're going to have this conversation all over again. Not the whole thing. We're going to change topics, but our beginning little banter thing is going to be different.
Apologies to everyone out there who was waiting for our podcast and it didn't come out. I'm really sorry. I'll buy you ice cream next time we see each other.
It's all right. It's all right. They can wait. Make them wait for more.
Make them wait.
Exactly. So if we haven't made it clear, the reason why it's a little bit funky is because we are FaceTiming right now because Rachel is still at home in LA and I am in Madrid doing a residency with Swing Maniacs. So I'm going to be here until mid-December. So we're trying this out. We don't know exactly if it's going to work 100%. I mean, but we're hoping for the best. When I put this in GarageBand, we'll really see what's going to happen.
We're going to see. You guys, we clapped, okay? It's going to work.
We clapped.
It's going to work.
We made a clap. We made him clap.
So what's going on with you? What's new with you?
I mean, the trip to Madrid, it's really great so far. I've been working a lot again still on Inspiration Weekend and cowbell stuff. I just made my first email using MailChimp, which was exciting. I know. It was really exciting. I felt like a grown-up doing that because I was putting pictures where they should go and putting text and making things sound exciting,
You are
a whole new way to be creative.
Mikey is actually bouncing up and down as he's talking about writing an email.
It was really fun.
That's very cute.
It was really fun. And I just sent a test one out, so we'll see how that goes. Actually, I sent it to you, and hopefully you can tell me if I made any mistakes.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it later.
Yeah. But besides that, I start teaching classes out here on Tuesday.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be teaching with I think 2 or 3 new people. little youngins in the Lindy Hop and teaching world. So I can't wait to be like the old grandpa.
Young grasshoppers.
Exactly. So it's gonna be real fun, and I get to teach in Spanish.
Oh, that's so fun. You can speak Spanish?
It's very frightening. I mean, when I'm ordering tacos, yes. But I mean, let's be honest. Like, not a lot of people have ever heard me speak Spanish, and I wouldn't say I'm fluent. I would say I'm mediocre at best.
I would say your Spanish is pretty mediocre at best.
Yeah. I mean, I can hold a fake conversation with people.
Mikey went to my taco stand around the corner from my house and ordered in Spanish to try to look legit. It was real cute.
I mean, it was legit, and then he spoke perfect Spanish right back to. And then he spoke like perfect English back to me, and I was like, "Okay, cool."
No, okay, cool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm not real.
You have a Square tablet here that we can use to use credit cards. We see how legit your taco stand is.
Dude, that taco stand has 5 stars on Yelp.
Oh, I mean, it is amazing. Like they cook everything when you order it, as opposed to like most other taco stands that has like a whole big tub of like ready to go meat, which is fine too, but you know, that's cool.
Yeah. Old taco stand in the hoose.
How about you? What are you up to? What are you up to out there?
I've been good. I started up my 301 improv classes. So I know it's been really fun. 301 is like so much more fun. My class though is full of all of these like Abercrombie boys. They're like they're like guys who are ridiculously good looking and like super pretty boys. And I'm like almost a little intimidated by them because they're so good looking. Like they all look like they're models. And I'm like walk in with like my dirty clothes and my like disgusting shoes because I've just come from work, and I'm like, oh hey guys, what's going on? Oh yeah, I've got like coffee splashed on my face. Your hair is perfectly coiffed. Cool.
But it's all right because like I mean like you're actually the style, right? Because the style right now for guys is wearing shirts that are like 2 or 3 sizes too big and ripped, with jeans that are probably 2 or 3 sizes too small.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're fine. You're fine. You're
totally
fitting
cool.
right in.
It's totally cool. Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah,
It's good. The class itself is like super fun because it's all about like group games, which are like these games that you play at the beginning to help create premises for yourself for the scenes. So it's like everything is super fun and everybody's laughing a lot and getting so much funnier.
But are they good at it? Are they just good-looking people that are not talented, or are they?
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. They're like just as good as everybody else, I would say, in the class. You know?
Okay. All right. So mediocrely okay.
Mediocrely okay. Yes. Yeah.
Like my Spanish. That's good.
Like your Spanish. But otherwise, it's been good. I taught a class on.
Oh, that's right, at Lindy Groove, right?
Thursday. Yeah. So this is what happened.
Oh shit.
I was supposed to teach with Brett, and according to Brett, he told Lance and Vicky and me that he could not teach this Thursday. The 3 of us didn't realize that he couldn't teach.
Classic,
right? And so then on like Tuesday, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can't teach, so you're gonna have to find somebody." And I was like, "Oh no, you should have told me earlier." And he was like, "I totally did." And so then I like went around and asked all the leaders who I would be willing to teach with, and they were all like, "No, I can't." And I was like, "What am I gonna do?"
I think you even almost asked me, and I was like, I'm just gonna let you answer this question.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I like go to Lindy Groove under the impression I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like teach the Tranky Do or something.
Yeah.
And Lance and Vicky are like not super huge on teaching solo classes in the drop-ins, just because they're drop-in classes.
They're drop-ins. I mean, they have no idea.
Yeah, and so this was the intermediate lesson. So I get there, and there's this one guy, his name is Eric, who like has an injured knee or hip or something. He had like an infection in his hip. So he like couldn't he couldn't really dance, and he was like, oh, I'd be willing to like help you out. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so we're like going over this stuff, and we're like, okay, maybe we should like teach some breakaway or something. And I'm like, okay, and I'm like feeling like
anything. Stay away from me with your infected hip.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's just like, I just need something to teach. I like can't think of anything. I'm all running around all over town. And then as soon as I start warming them up and they're doing swing outs, I was like, no, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. I feel like we should just talk about technique. Let's just do technique,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
I gotta like.
What you're being like super like hippie about like technique.
Yeah, well, that's what was so funny about it. I like they were doing swing outs, and I was like, hey man, I'm not feeling this breakaway stuff at all. I just want to talk about I just want to talk about technique. And we did, and then at like the end of the class, I was like, hey, you guys, like, I don't know how you guys feel about learning technique. I know like some people are totally not into it, and they were like, we love it. Teach us more. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I kept like steering away from it because sometimes like we have classes and we're talking about technique, and like people just start dropping like flies out of the class.
They're just like, nah, I'm leaving. And they just like kind of wander away. They're like, ooh, a butterfly. And they just go
Exactly. So.
But that's true. That's true. I mean, I've been in a lot of classes before too. Like I'll sub in classes at Atomic and when I'm in town, and I'll just be like, well, let's just work on stuff that makes sense.
Yeah,
and
totally.
In my head, it's a little bit, it starts off with a little bit of technique, and then it goes off into like a little more fun conceptual things in my head, kind of like talking it out loud, and then like feeling it out. But then people always kind of respond to it pretty well because it's not putting anything on other teachers, but other teachers can just kind of do their routine a lot of the times, and when you get in that mode where you're like, I feel like maybe doing this instead of this, and that could be really surprisingly well. I mean, it's hit or miss, let's be honest, right? But like it's when you hit, it's awesome.
I mean, I love going into a class and having a plan, and I like totally demolished my plan and then didn't have one and was like, I'm just going to go with what I'm feeling and what's happening in the moment. And it ended up working really well. Like they didn't do anything except for swing out the entire class.
How often when you teach a class do you actually plan ahead of time? Or like follow through with your plan?
I would say like probably like 90% of the time. Like I'll follow through. Yeah, like I'll follow through to some extent. Like I might change some things up. But
I mean, sure.
But I'll like stick to the basic premise of my class.
How often do you walk into a class and be like, I don't know what we're gonna do today, and then just watch them and then like make it up as you go?
I don't usually do that too often, only because I know like, so for the drop-in class, the challenge classes, which is what I usually teach at Lindy Groove, I know what the other instructors are teaching, and so I try to hit topics that they're not hitting.
Right. Because I was just wondering, because I mean, like, it was a vague question that last one, because usually I walk into a class not knowing what I'm going to teach.
Really?
Until I watch them. Yeah, until I watch them, because like it's not like I'm making something up on the spot. It's not about that. It's more like I have a lot, and I feel like you have this too. I mean, you've been teaching enough to have like a grab bag of topics.
Yeah.
You can kind of mix and match and put it together and then make up a class as you go. It's not just kind of like going into it and be like, well, I'm going to make up whatever move and see if it works. Like I feel like I used to do that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Younger teacher, but like not anymore. Like I feel like I have a grab bag of topics, techniques, tricks, exercises, whatever.
I feel like I usually go in with a concept like I really want to work on body rhythm. I really want to work on Charleston or something. And then from there, I'll kind of like survey the students to see how they're doing and then kind of like judge like what specifically we should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a really good mark of a teacher. I'm not going to name names, but there have been some people I've worked with that would plan out a class and they need to hit every little point that they've made in the planning process. And even if there's like 5 minutes left, they will still want to do like some crazy ass like 2 or 3 more things. And I'm like, we have no time. Like play a song like in these 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're either it's a sweet spot. If you get them excited about whatever they learned, whether they've succeeded or not, if you get them excited, I feel like they're more likely to leave the class in a positive sense and retain most of the knowledge. But if you add more onto something that someone is already struggling with, like, I feel like that succession rate is going to be a little too low.
Totally.
But I mean, to each their own, right? To each their own. It's all separate. I mean, that's what I love about Lindy Hop. It's just so different. Like today. Today's so different.
Today's going to be a little different.
Yeah, because we've gotten so many questions from all you guys listeners out there. We wanted to address a couple of them today. And in hopes that you guys will keep answering, or keep asking us questions. Answer your own questions when you ask them.
These questions that we're asking today are going to be like, these are questions that we can't really answer in like 5 or 10 minutes in our question of the week. And so we want to give them a little bit more time to talk about them.
And they're a little all over the place. So let's jump into it. Rachel, what's our first question?
The first question is from your cousin.
I don't have a cousin. That's a lie. That's a dirty, dirty lie. We're nothing alike.
Your cousin Josh.
He's much cooler than me. And
old Yosh. And he's got a very simple question, which is swing gentrified?
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, when Josh submitted this question, we were both like, is swing gentrified? That's funny. And we had to go look up the actual definition of gentrification because I thought it had to do with neighborhoods, like inner city neighborhoods.
Yeah, and I just thought it had to do. I thought it was a more newer word, and I thought it had to do with just basically making old things
new again.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
better or new or different.
So if you don't know what gentrification is, it is the revitalization of neighborhoods, right?
Well, I mean, yes, that was a definition you found out, but I have one on mine from Merriam-Webster's online.
Oh, hello.
And it says, I know, right? Right. And it's got two last names, so you know it's legit.
It's yes.
So gentrified verb, gentrify verb. Popularity, bottom 50% of words.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's 50% popular. Simple definition of gentrify: to change a place such as an old neighborhood by improving it and making it more appealing to people who have money.
Cool. So
and I think that's the way that most people kind of understand it for the most part.
Yeah, I would agree.
But here's the thing: if it's about money. And if we're asking if swing is gentrified, I mean, then I am missing something because like I don't feel like there's a ton of money being shoved around in Lindy Hop. I feel like there's tons of events, but like, is it made nicer for people who have money? Like,
yeah. Well, I actually wonder if he means like the people who are dancing are like upper middle class, predominantly white people instead of being like working class black people in Harlem.
Yeah. I think most people think about that because like, I mean, Lindy Hop he's asking swing, but like I'm just gonna take it as Lindy Hop. Like Lindy Hop came out of Harlem, came out of New York, came out of the African American neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And then was introduced into the ballrooms, or they were doing it in the ballrooms there, and then introduced into downtown, which is mostly predominantly white people, and then it spread all over the world. But the thing is, like, I feel like today, our dancing isn't just exactly how they did it in Harlem. I feel like it's a culmination of what they were doing in California, what they were doing in the Midwest. What they were doing a little bit in Europe with rock and roll, and like even like what became boogie woogie eventually. Like I feel like it's an amalgamation of everything. So when people say like gentrified, or if it falls into Savoy style or Hollywood style or anything, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like we've transcended that. We've gone to a place, and it's a little more homogenized, but like I feel like we have a little bit of everything now in our dance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could ask those same questions with like Argentine tango. Because it started on the streets of Argentina. You could probably say the same thing about salsa. Is salsa gentrified?
I mean, yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, I don't know too much about the history of salsa, but like, I feel like it came up around the same time
Yeah.
as Lindy Hop in like the early 1900s, and it became a lot more popular than Lindy Hop. I feel like, but who knows? I mean, like, I feel like most dances are kind of a little more popular than Lindy Hop, but maybe that's just kind of my my guilty conscience or whatever.
No, the other thing is like, I think if that's what we're talking about, and the answer could possibly be yes, that swing has been gentrified. Don't you think it would have been gentrified like back in the 40s when white people started dancing? Like there was a movement in the mid 40s where black dancers were no longer being shown in movies. It was now white dancers were doing Lindy Hop.
Yeah.
White people were swing dancing a whole bunch. Like you could make the argument that if it did become gentrified, that's when it happened.
That's a good point. I mean, that's where most of our history comes from. Like as we look back into like the old clips, like you said, like, yeah, there was kind of a point. There was a switch over where there was a little more white people dancing than there was when there was African Americans dancing in the movies back then. So yeah, I guess it would have started back then. But here's the other thing is white people and African Americans were dancing at the same time, but they were dancing different versions to the same music, but like different versions of dancing.
Yeah,
so
totally
like,
different styles.
Who started what? Like, I mean, dancing is kind of if we go even further back, like then it's like, yeah, of course it is. Even back then, like, but sort of in a way, African Americans were copying what white people were doing and making it a little more fun and kind of bigger, and then backwards, and then white people started copying African American people, and like, yeah, so like it's a back and forth thing, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like it's a very complicated issue because swing dancing is like a culmination of European partner dancing and African dance, right?
Yeah.
So there's already
definitely.
White people influence in swing dancing, even from the beginning.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, like because we can't just see of it right now. It's got a long history.
Yeah.
And if we take it that far back, like this dance couldn't have happened without both people. Maybe I'm getting a little sticky territory when I say that, but I mean, it takes both cultures. It took both cultures and the combination of it in America, which is that's what I feel. Like I've said this maybe before, where like if ballet comes from France and like you have to take this kind of like all the words and all the things they have in ballet is in French. It's a French dance, and then around the world they do it a little bit differently. Lindy Hop or swing is an American dance that has English terms.
Yeah.
And in that case, like when you think about American culture, yes, we're all like different parts of America is a little bit different, but the thing that makes us America, or the United States at least, is that we're a lot of different cultures mixed together to make a brand new culture that is trying to help each other, lift each other up, and I feel like today in the Lindy Hop scene, that's what we do the best. We try our best to lift each other up, whether it be in contest performances or just social dancing. We try to lift each other up to make each other better and really try to have that awesome dance. So
yeah, totally. I also think like just because there's a lot of white people who are dancing now doesn't mean that they are on the whole richer, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would say that most of the scene in Albuquerque had like historically been poor college students.
Yeah. I mean, most of the scenes that I feel like in the United States without like maybe I would say Austin and Los Angeles OC and Seattle, I think are probably like the bigger scenes out there, and actually Minnesota as well, rather Minneapolis, I think are the bigger scenes. But there's a ton of small scenes that are usually based off of college scenes.
Yeah,
and those are young people of all sorts of races that are usually quite poor because they're in college university scenes.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that like there aren't plenty of people out there who are wealthier, who can afford to travel to a lot of events. Like those people
Dorian Summer. That's it.
Those people totally exist. getting on the cover of Time magazine, hanging out with the president, like, okay, whatever, like, no big deal. Saving lives, traveling around the world, like, okay, that's fine. Passing a bill in Congress, like, okay.
There's tons of people that are doing that in
There's
Lindy
tons of people
Hop,
like that.
Yeah, geez. But, I mean, for the rest of the, the underling people, I guess, where your money at? But I don't know. Like, it's a loaded question. I don't know. Kind of. I mean, like, I don't try to occupy my brain and my time to think about things like that.
Yeah.
I'm a little more on a thing of just like being, what do I need to do? What do I want to do? What do I like doing? What do I want to give out into the world?
So you're saying you're more selfish.
Yeah, completely. I would definitely say that. I would definitely say, and I've said that before. I feel like, I don't know if I've ever told you that. Like, I feel like selfish is a term that can be taken positively or negatively. And most of the time we think about it in a negative sense, but like in the creative process, sometimes it's really good to be a little bit selfish. Like it's like the only way to really truly be honest with yourself, because you're trying to make something that makes you happy. Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I feel like that's a topic that I don't actually spend too much time thinking about. Because it's not important to me, because that's not what I'm trying to focus on in the dance. Like, I'm trying to focus on having a good time, sharing the love with whoever wants to experience it, helping out the community in any way that I can. Like, those are things that I'm more concerned about.
Yeah, and as long as us and the dancers out there are trying their best to move this dance forward, move their own personal dance forward.
Yeah.
While still respecting what has happened in the past, as in whatever color, whatever dance style they were doing, as long as they hold that with them and carry that forward, then I feel like we're doing a justice to everyone who danced back then, all the originators. You don't have to. I mean, there are some people out there just trying to like recreate that feeling that they had back then, which is great. But there are some people that are just trying to move it forward and seeing what else we can do with this dance. So as long as I feel like we're doing that, I feel like we're moving together all as one community under the swing dancing banner.
I'm actually curious to see what other people think about this. Like, if you guys want to write to us on Facebook or something and tell us what you think about this topic, I would be very curious to know.
Yeah, I don't usually like to keep track of too many Facebook threads, so I'll leave that to Rachel to keep up on.
To the old Art Dizzle, Rachel and the Who's.
So that's good. So, I mean, that's our first question.
Our first question.
Let's move on to another one.
Yeah, our second question comes from Jerry Almonte. If you don't.
Oh, fuck that guy. God, whatever. I'm so cool. I'm like the Buddha of swing dancing.
Oh, look at me. Got all this influence.
Just kidding, Jerry. We love you. Don't hate us.
Jerry knows that I love him, so I don't have to profess my love.
I think Jerry doesn't care if I love him or not, and I think he's fine with that.
That's probably true. He says, I had an interesting conversation with Bobby White recently where we talked about how instructors navigate the spectrum between being an artist and being a professional. Do you see yourself as more one or the other? And how do you balance competing or conflicting urges and obligations? And how does the view of the dance as a social activity affect that? I love this question.
Ooh, man, that is a really good question.
Leave it to Jerry to ask the smartest, hardest questions in the universe. You know what I mean?
Seriously. I mean, let's hear from your end, like, because your end was like building and maintaining a scene.
Yeah.
And still being like, try to be creative and trying to be going out there and fulfilling your dance spirit.
Yeah. I would say that I was probably working professionally as a dancer for like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
Before we moved here. And
I mean, that's a long time, because like you guys put in so much effort and time and work that I feel like 3 years, someone might look at it and go, oh, it's only 3 years. But I'm like, 3 years, man, that's a lot of fucking time.
Yeah, it was a long time. I would say for myself, it's hard to grow and cultivate a local dance scene and equally work on your own dancing at the same time. Like, it takes so much brain power and energy to run your dance scene and a studio on top of that, and like make sure you're actually making enough money and working on your own dancing. Like, it was a lot for me. And so I feel like when I was doing all that, I was less focused on my own dancing. Like, I was traveling and I was trying to learn as much as I could, but I wasn't just like practicing all the time because I was too tired to do that.
Did you have to like schedule out your time, like as in like, okay, when I wake up, I'm gonna get breakfast, and then I'm gonna like work on the computer for like 3 hours, and then after that I'm gonna like work on this and plan classes, and then get ready for the dance, and then eat something, and then like teach a lesson, and then dance that night? Was it like that, or was it just kind of like whatever happened?
It was kind of more like whatever happened, but I also had a part-time job to supplement my income.
So yeah, that
I had
takes
to
up a lot more space then.
Yeah, so I had to work around that as well. And so I was doing that primarily during the day, and then in the evening the evening afternoon, I would come home, teach private lessons, teach my classes, go to my rehearsals, and then go out social dancing.
Right.
So there were very few times where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like go and work on my solo movement, or I'm gonna go like comb through my music collection for a few hours. Like, at the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm too tired.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I feel like when I first started to become like a professional dancer, have it be my main source of work and income and whatnot, I think it was like 2010-ish, around there, 2011.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like very gung-ho. I was working for my family business. I was working at the hospital. I had a house, and I had teaching at Atomic, and then like sometimes I would have teaching on the side to go travel.
You had a house?
I felt like yeah.
Was it in Orange County?
Yeah, it was. It was a long time ago.
Wow.
I lost it when the bubble burst, and we didn't really get it back because mortgages and whatnot. But
oh yeah.
anyways,
moving on. Moving on.
So
classic story.
So I feel like I had like 5 jobs, like 5 different roles in my life, and then like I just put it out to the universe, and I felt like, okay, I want to do this. What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So then lost the house. Felt like I kind of had like not a falling out, but like kind of had like this thing where I'm like, I don't want to work for my family anymore. It was too stressful. So really it just came down to 2 things, where I had working at the hospital, which is my like main source of income, and then I started working on my dancing a lot more and putting in more effort and just going to the studio and working on stuff. And when that happened, like, it became so easy for me because I wasn't putting on events. I wasn't putting on local dances or anything. So it just became real easy, like work and then go dance when I wasn't working.
Yeah.
You know? And it was easy for me to do that. I don't know why. I don't know how. It just became easy. I made the time. But as time went on, like, that definitely diminished. Like, I didn't work for the hospital anymore. I worked 100% for myself. And I found that I was working a little more on the computer than I was on dancing. And even today, I still struggle with it back and forth. But I can't go with the idea that I need to be in the studio and work on my dancing when I don't know which direction that really, because dancing is such a big and vague way to put it. Like, I mean, like, to put it a little more clearly, like, there's working on your solo dancing, there's working on your partner dancing, which involves another person, so you have to have working with someone else. You could work on your partner dancing by yourself, but that can only but like, you can only do so much with that.
Totally.
Then there's kind of like working on planning classes or trying new rhythms or trying new ideas in topic classes. So there's lots of different ways you could take it, but I feel like I can't work on any of that unless I feel the drive to, the burn to. Like, I have to feel like I have this, oh, I really want to create this routine, or I really have this idea for a rhythm, or I really have this great topic for a class, like whatever it might be. Like, I have to have the want to do it first, and then I can work on it. So
yeah, I totally feel the same way. Like I would be like, okay, I'm gonna go downstairs and practice because I lived above the studio, and I would get down there and I'd be like, what am I gonna work on? I'm here all by myself, and I'd be like, okay, I'll like dance around a little bit and just kind of like warm myself up, and I'd be like, I don't feel inspired to do anything, and then I would end up not practicing.
Yeah, and I think that kind of puts another hindrance on like the like being creative and being an artist. You know, like I feel like if being an artist, I don't like the word artist. I like the word being creative or being a creator.
Yeah.
So like if you feel like you can't create, then don't push yourself, or else you're gonna push yourself to like this very negative end, or you're gonna feel very almost depressed because you want to be creative, but you don't know which way to go, and so you just end up blocking yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think for me, like the balance of like of the urge of creating and the obligation of being like a professional, I feel like if I feel like they're two different things, then I'm gonna feel torn.
Yeah.
So instead, I just feel like it's together, and it's like one begets the other. Like if I need to do some computer work, then maybe I should go out social dancing that night and not have to worry about being creative and just dance and just have fun for myself. So because that's going to create the drive to be like, oh, okay. Like right now for me, I was just talking with some of these newer dance teachers I'm going to work with. And I'm like, hey, if you guys ever want to work on stuff, like let me know, because I really want to work on my social dancing right now.
Yeah.
And that's me personally. Like, and they're like, oh, what do you mean? And I'm like,
I just want to get better at social dancing.
I want to get better at social. And so I was like, I want to dance around and then get some feedback. And they're like, from me? Like, they're like, question mark, from me, question mark. And I'm like, yeah, because you're going to dance with me. Like, even if it's not a full thought out question, but at least I can get some feedback. Like if something didn't work or if something did work, like, and then it takes me to another place where I can, okay, what didn't work? How can I fix that? What did work? Okay. How can I make that clearer?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So like stuff like that for me. Yeah. Like, and like being social, like, I feel like I feel like Jerry's trying to like see if we can separate all these things and sometimes people can do that. Like for me, I don't. Like it's all one big piece.
Yeah.
You know, like it's all one fluid thought of being creative and doing work on a computer and being social and not caring about anything. Like I feel like they all beget together. Like I feel like it's like 6 count, 8 count, and Charleston. Like you have to get all three of those to really feel like you're actually having a good social dance a lot of the times. And that's so I don't really feel as different things. I feel like it's different moves.
Do you feel like because of that, like there, like all of these aspects of being a professional dancer, do you feel like you can never escape it? Like you can never just like have a day off?
Yes and no. Like I feel like I can. Like I feel like I can just like fuck off the world. I don't need to do shit today.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stay in my boxers and like watch Netflix all day. Like I feel like you can do that, and that's very, very easy. But the thing is yes, that's good. But if you have too many days like that, just like any other job, if you have too many days like that, then what are you really doing? Like you're just fucking off too much.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, not to say like you always need to be in the studio or you always need to be in front of the computer or always need to be at a social dance. Like, no, just like do things at a good leisurely way. And I feel like you will never, but like those burnt out moments will come a little bit fewer.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So, yeah, man. Yeah. So thank you, Jerry, for that question.
Yeah. Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry, for making us think.
I like what you said, because that leads us into our last question from Andrew Jose, OG in the Who's.
Jose.
Old
Jose.
Andrew Josie.
Jose.
Josie.
He's going to hate that we said it this many times. Andrew Jose.
Andrew Jose. He says, do either of you ever get burned out on dancing, and how do you handle it?
Yes. I mean, simple answer. Thank you.
Yes.
That's the end of our podcast. Yes.
Yes.
I think, I don't know. Like, I feel, do you ever watch Lost?
No.
You should, first off. Lost is an amazing television, but you hate television, so it's
I don't hate television.
I know. I'm just joking. It's like you're surrounded by it all the time. I get it.
Just look, I'm really busy watching Sex in the City with Brett right now, okay? I am
Oh shit. Calling him out.
I am such a Charlotte.
I mean, I kind of get that. I tried to stay away from that as much as I could, but I did see
but the
movie.
show is so good.
I've heard really good things about it. And
You should watch
it's like
it.
right up my alley.
You should watch
Maybe
it.
I should.
Brett
One of these
really
days,
likes
one of these
it.
days.
Brett likes it.
Well, if Brett likes it, then
If
I
Brett
guess I
likes it,
should.
then I'll like it too. I love Brett. Oh,
I love my Brettsicle.
Oh, Brettsicle. Brettsicle, you're my favorite. Okay.
I love your imitating voice because your imitating voice basically is
like
the same thing for
the
everybody.
same thing for everyone.
Yeah. So like here's the thing. So here's why I said about Lost. In Lost, there was this one episode where Kate is talking to Jack, and Jack says, like, Kate's telling him, like, I just like have this feeling like I just want to run away. And Jack's like, look, I used to have those feelings all the time. And what would happen is I would count to 10, and I give myself those 10 minutes to, like, 10 seconds, whatever, to, like, allow that feeling to, like, take me over and, like, do its thing and run its course. And then after that, I would move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, of course. Like, I haven't watched in a while, so it's something like that.
Of course.
And that actually really affected me. I was like, that's amazing. Like, I actually really love that. So when these feelings of, like, being burnt out or feeling tired or these negative kind of feelings that we add to ourselves, like, I kind of embrace them a little bit.
Yeah.
It takes a minute. Like, it's not that first natural reaction. My natural reaction is to fight against it and, like, do something else, but that never quite works out. So I feel like when I feel like I'm burnt out on dancing, I take time away.
Yeah.
I take a week. I take a week because I can sometimes, and just do other things. Go out with friends where it's not a dance atmosphere. Play some pool because I really like playing pool. Like, go out to do things that aren't part of the dance scene. I mean, I'll probably do them with dancers because they're my closer friends. I hang out with family. Like, which is always really great because my family don't give a fuck who I am. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, Michael, yeah, that little boring ass, that little kid that used to, like, terrorize us and fart in our faces as kids. Like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, it's really humbling to have that, and then I'm able to, like, move on from that feeling of being burnt out and, like, really love dancing again. Like, I feel like that happened to me this time in Orange County, this last month and a half that I was there.
Yeah.
Where, like, I was working hard on different things, like, again, working on events, working on ILHC stuff, and other side projects. I should have been burnt out a lot faster, but I wasn't. I had some, like, really great nights of social dancing where I was just like, I love this dance. And, like, granted, maybe I wasn't being the best partner that I could have been, but at the same time, like,
admittedly,
we were all having fun.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm very admittedly about that. Like, but I feel like at least we were having fun.
Yeah.
And at least we were, like, going out there and doing our thing. So, do I ever get burnt out? Yes. How do I handle it? I let it take me over and let it run its course, and then I move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I like that.
What about you?
Yeah, I feel like I do something similarly. Like, I get burnt out, and I just try to ride the wave. Just ride the wave out. Ride the wave out. I've been using that term a lot this week. Just, like, riding the wave, because
it's good.
It's good. Like, it's okay to feel burned out and be like, oh man, I'm really not enjoying Lindy Hop right now, or it's taking over my life, or I just want to sit at home and do nothing. Like, that's totally.
Have you watched that movie called Surf's Up?
No.
It's a cartoon with penguins, and it's about surfing.
No, I haven't.
It's fucking fabulous. It's got Shia LaBeouf and the dude Jeff
Goldblum.
Whatever. No, the other one, the dude from the dude from Big Lebowski.
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yeah, and he says that he's, like, talking about, like, just ride the wave.
Just ride the wave, man.
Yeah, he's like, I think you will
You do
very
you.
much enjoy
Feel
it.
the
It's
feels.
really funny. Yeah. It's really great. I mean, I don't surf, but like it was just really great. I think you will very much enjoy it because it's a silly movie and it's so cool. And
Okay.
it's done in a totally different way.
I'll check it out.
But anyway, sorry.
But
Sorry.
yeah,
Continue.
I just like
ride the wave.
A lot of times when I'm feeling really burned out, I just go out dancing anyway, and like if I'm not feeling it, I won't dance. And if I am feeling it, I will dance. And like I try to look at the bigger picture, you know, like I still love Lindy Hop. It's done so much for me in my life. So many of my friends are involved in it. You know, like if I'm not having a good week or a good month or even a good year, it's totally cool. Like it doesn't necessarily feel good, but it's okay. Like it'll be okay.
As long as you dance.
As long as you dance. I mean, you just got to do what you feel, you know, like do the instincts. I'm like all about that right now. Like
I know. Just
do what you feel, man. Just like
what do you feel like doing? Left or right? Who cares?
Left or right? Like you want to perform right stage? You perform right stage.
See, you always bring it back to that. You always fucking make me feel like the biggest crazy person ever. Like I'm gonna walk out one day and I'm gonna perform to the stage right and fuck the rest of the people. You are a crazy person. And then I'm gonna start wearing bags on my feet and
bags on your feet. Like
bags
plastic?
on my feet and Aerosalons on my head.
Paper or plastic?
One and one because you know.
Oh,
we all know plastic is superior slidey material.
It's true.
It's
But paper can cover up the ugliness a little bit more, you know?
Nothing can cover up this ugliness.
nothing can hide this ugliness.
Nothing can.
I'm Soup Zuggo.
Thank you to Josh, Jerry, and Andrew. Oh, I just realized we have 3 questions from 3 dudes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, you guys.
Oh, well.
Whatever.
We'll do another time. We have so many questions from all the listeners, and it's so freaking cool that you guys actually ask questions.
Yeah,
and,
please
it gives
keep
us, like,
submitting
fodder
them
to think about. Please keep submitting to our Facebook page and everything else. But Rachel, we have one last thing to do.
Is it talk about the bright side?
The bright side.
Bright
That's exactly
side,
it.
bright side. We're gonna talk about the bright side. Yeah. Jazz hands, yeah.
Jazz hands, yeah. I mean, like seriously, we're like postmodern jukebox here. Horrible yet entertaining at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what's your bright side for today, Rach?
Oh man, I would have to say that my bright side is that we re-recorded this podcast because yesterday I was just feeling so grouchy that as we were recording, I was like, I just want this to be over with. I just want this to be done.
Really?
Like this is not going
you
well
hit it
for
so
me.
Well. You hit it so well.
Because I was not, I was like, oh man, I am like not doing this well. Like I'm not funny. I'm not having fun. Like we're not really having banter. I'm like sitting here like a super grouchy mouchy, just like old curmudgeon. Like I might as well have been like sitting in a pile of trash with like flies all over me.
You know what's funny is like if for whatever reason the data recovery had worked, I would have loved to have put it together and still put it out there just so we could show people being like, this is how we are. This is some real shit
like
right here.
Sometimes
Rachel just woke up and she hasn't had coffee or food or anything. And we're going to answer questions. Rachel, how do you think about classes? I hate them.
I hate them.
Moving on.
I hate them. Oh my God. I'm like not a very good grouchy person. Like I can't like keep myself together very well. So like whenever I'm grouchy, I have to like isolate myself and like take a nap and just kind of like recharge. I can't.
Right,
I'm not good at like putting on a good face. Like I mean, you know me. Like I wear all of my emotions like right at the surface, and so I can't. I'm not good at hiding stuff. So if I'm grouchy, I have to ride the wave, man. I have to ride the wave until I'm done, and then I can like go back to feeling good and normal again.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because like you and Brett are really similar like that. And that's why you guys always wear hoodies. So you can just fucking pull up the hoodie and be like, hide away from the world. It's like, I love when we work on events together because when we do, like, the first day, it's great. You guys are ready to go. And by Sunday, like in the morning, your hoodie is like so far up and like over yourself. You guys look like some fucking like Sith warriors right there.
I don't know about Brett, but if people see me at an event and I'm wearing a hoodie and I have my hood up, it's because I'm so cold. Because those places are freezing and I cannot get warm for the life of me.
That's true.
I'm like chilled to the. I like need like a Eskimo jacket with like the fur around my face and like the big mittens and stuff to warm up.
I feel like that should be like, I'm gonna take that what you just said. I'm gonna take it out and try to auto tune it and make it into like some kind of song. Or something. I need the jacket up here and the fur around my face. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be great.
Fur around my face. Fur around my face. Work. What about
also,
you?
I love when people. Before I say my bright side, I love when people like comment to us or like send us messages or tell us in person. They're like, "Oh, it's so great! I listen to your podcast and it's so much fun. Can Rachel sing more?" I'm like, I'll pass the note. Thank you so much.
So I went dancing at Atomic last night, and so many people were like, "Hey, I was refreshing my news feed all day long, and I never saw your podcast come up. What happened? I was looking for it. Did you guys post it?" And I was like, "Oh no, man, I made a boo boo." I'm sorry.
Do you want the long answer? Do you want the long answer or do you want the short answer?
I totally messed up. I apologize.
Oh fuck. Oh, man. I mean, I was not upset, by the way, Rachel. I was not upset that happened. I was like, of course, like
bummer.
Like at the same time, I was just like, no problem. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Like, that's even better because like this time it went so much faster again, we're trying this in 2 different cities on different parts of the world. Like it's actually going a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, for sure. And I was like so unhappy with how it went yesterday that I was like, oh, I'm glad that it disappeared because now we have to re-record and I know that I'll be so much better tomorrow.
Oh, totally. The topic and the question, we're going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe next week, and then we'll let you guys know and we'll see what happens. But my bright side of this podcast today is knowing that people actually like listen to the podcast and also like are asking such great questions and just want to hear us talk about it. Like, cause I feel like
they just want to hear me talk. They just want to hear me. It's all about me.
And the girl voice.
And the girl voice speaks.
That's what you said.
You're
That's
welcome,
what you said a long time ago.
world.
So I was like, it's been like, hey, welcome to the bright side with Mikey and the girl voice.
Well, yeah, because people were like coming up to me and they were like, "Oh, do you know so and so? This is Rachel. She's the girl voice on the bright side." And I'm like, "Okay, great.
Oh,
I'm so glad that that's how I'm being referred to. The girl voice."
Oh, it's so good. Not anymore. You're
not
the singing
anymore.
voice.
I'm the singing voice. I've made forward steps in this world.
It's so good.
Watch out! I'm gonna be a star, everyone.
That's my bright side. Answering questions with the girl voice.
Oh man.
We'll start another podcast called Answering Questions with the Girl Voice, and it'll just be you.
It'll be Breakfast with Rachel.
No, okay, that too, I guess.
That too.
Like
I mean, whatever. Okay, Answering Questions with the Girl Voice. I mean, fine, whatever.
Yay!
If that's what you want the title to be. I mean, it's like a totally terrible title, but whatever.
We'll also make another podcast.
What are you doing with your shirt there?
Laffy Time with Coco and Laffy.
Mikey is pulling his shirt up over his head. What are you doing? Why are you being so weird?
I have no idea right
What's
now.
going on? Now your neck hole's all stretched out.
That's what she said. It's not that it's small, it's that it's big.
It's big. Oh, God.
All right, everybody. That's it for today. Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes, you know where to find us.
You know the
Ask
deal.
us questions. It's all cool. So from me, Mikey, the star of the show,
in
and
Madrid,
Rachel
The girl voice.
The girl voice in LA.
We bid you adieu. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hit the stop button. Hit the stop button.
Ready? 1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
3.